Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Kal Hala, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Vadesh. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Vadesh. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to all the Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity, to the men, women, and children listening, learning, to the Bayashadobadat, the house of David. This is Men of Valor. All right, I am Ayah Shatab, coming to you through the will and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, all right, with a lesson. And I don't know yet what it's going to be titled, but the Spirit just jumped on me, to go into this, all right? But without further ado, let's just get into the scripts, all right? So let's go ahead and go into the book of Psalms. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 2 and verse 2, and it reads, the kings of the earth themselves, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. All right, so these heathens, all right, these heathen nations, starting with Esau, Edom, and these other nations, all right, it said, let us cut them off, all right, and to destroy Israel, all right, and to destroy his anointed, all right, because in verse 2, once again, I'm going to read it again, it says, Psalms chapter 2, verse 2, the kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh, all right, so they take counsel against Yahweh, all right, how do they destroy, in their feeble mind, how do they destroy Yahweh from ruling over them, all right, how do they destroy a heritage of Yasharallah, all right, the Israelites, from ruling over them, all right, because we represent Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai on the earth, okay, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Seminole Indians, Haitians, Guatemalans, Puerto Ricans, Argentinians, Chile, Uruguay, all right, you are the chosen people of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls God in Jesus Christ, all right, but he said, and against his anointed, all right, against his anointed. And let's go out ahead and find out exactly who Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai's anointed is, all right, and we're going to find that out. You can go to the book of 1 Chronicles, all right, chapter 16. 1 Chronicles, this will be chapter 16 and verse 22, and it reads, saying, touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. All right? Do my prophets no harm. So, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is giving his anointed right there, his prophets. All right? Touch not his anointed, do his prophets no harm. His prophets belong to the nation of Israel. All right, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Seminole Indians, Haitians, Guatemalans, Puerto Ricans, Argentinians, all the way down to Mexicans. All right, and to prove that, once again, all right, to prove it, to who he's speaking to. Slovakia. Who he's speaking to. You can find that in the book of Romans. Be the book of Romans chapter 9. Book of Romans chapter 9 and starting at verse 4, and it reads, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the power and the promises. All right, so first and foremost, let's go ahead and hit. It says directly, who are the Israelites, to the adoption, all right, and to the glory and to the covenants, all right, the covenants, the law, statutes, and commandments, All right, the law, statutes, and commandments was given unto a particular nation. That nation is the nation of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Seminole Indians, Haitians, Guatemalans, Puerto Ricans, Argentinians, Chile, Uruguay. All right, Mexicans. You belong to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, and continuing on, and the giving of the law. All right, the giving of the law, the 10 Commandments. All right, you look at the 10 Commandments, even though there's 613, it's given to the Israelites. And the service of the power. All right, to perform those services, to perform the acts. All right, to do sacrifices. All right, if you look in the book, of Salakia, if you look in the book of the law, all right, you'll be able to see Leviticus. Leviticus, you'll be able to see exactly which acts we had to perform. All right, because it says here in the book, it says the giving of the law and the service of the power. All right, so the high holy days to perform those righteous acts, such as sacrificing in the temple, which we did. All right, we are the ones that were doing this. All right, it is the nation of Israel and Israel alone. No other nation, all right, was required to do this. No other nation is ordained to do it. It was through the will and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that we are to do this. All right, and he declared this from for ever. All right, for generations, that we, the children of Israel, all right, would be a kingdom of priests. All right, a kingdom of kings and priests. As a matter of fact, Salakia, let me just go ahead and go into that right quick. Let's jump over to Exodus. It's going to be the book of Exodus. Salakia. It's going to be the book of Exodus, and it's going to be chapter 19. And I'm going to start at verse 3, and it reads, Salakia. Yeah, start at verse 3. And Moses went up unto the power, and Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, all right, and tell the children of Israel. All right, so the house of Jacob and children of Israel. Jacob's name was surnamed, he was surnamed Israel. All right, and you can find that in the book of Genesis. If I'm correct, I believe it's chapter 32 and verse 27. All right, going on to verse 4. Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and have I, Slakia, what I done to the Egyptian, and how I brought you, all right, which is possessive, brought you on eagle's wings. All right, you, he's talking specifically unto the house of Jacob, the children of Israel, and brought you unto myself. All right, he possessed us unto himself. Verse 5. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, a nation, above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. All right? These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. All right? The point was in verse 6. I wanted to read that right there just so we can have understanding. All right? But I'm going to read verse 6 again. This is Exodus chapter 19 and verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. Okay? So that goes to show you right there that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is only dealing with one nation. All right? Salakia. All right, and that his anointed, his anointed is the children of Israel, to who pertaineth the laws and the adoption. I'm going to read verse 5 on that right quick. And this is the book of Romans, chapter 9, and verse 5. And it reads, who are the fathers? All right. So who belongs to the Most High? Who belongs to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? All right. Who belongs to him? Which is the Israelites. They do the service. Who? Read it from the top again. This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, and verse 5. Who are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, who's concerning the flesh? Whose flesh is the most important that we're talking about in this book? All right, this heritage book. All right, that you so-called Christians say that he came and died for everybody's sins. No, he came and died for the Israelite sins. You can find that out in the book of Matthew. All right, book of Matthew, chapter 1, chapter 1, verses 21 through 24. All right, you can find that out there. And concerning the flesh, a Mashiach came, who is over all the power, blessed forever. All right, so who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, all right, came for his people. All right, and that people is the nation of Israel, starting with you Negroes all the way down to you Native Americans and Latinos. All right, you are the true children of Israel. Okay? Salakia. Go to the book of Psalms. And this is going to be the book of Psalms. And this is going to be chapter 83. And I'm going to start at verse 2. All right? Because Psalms 82, Psalms 83 and verse 2. For lo, thy enemy make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. All right? Because these as we read in Psalms 2, chapter 2 and verse 2 through 3, all right, they have set rulers theirself as the rulers, all right, governing over Israel, all right, ultimately because it's Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, but these other nations have set themselves as rulers, chiefly Esau, Edom, all right, over the nation of Israel. Okay, continuing on, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Seminole Indians, Haitians, Guatemalans, Puerto Ricans, Argentinians, all the way down to Mexicans. All right? You're hidden because you didn't know your heritage. You're hidden because you thought your beginning of your nation started in slavery. All right? When you've been here. All right? The nation of Israel has been here. All right? And you have been Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's people. But through our disobedience, we were led into captivity. All right? You can find that out in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. You just read through that and see if those curses apply to you. But it starts with your father's line. All right? If your father is of those so-called bywords, all right? Those are bywords, so-called black, Latino, Native American, all right? Whether it be Puerto Rican, Guatemalan, Argentinian, all the way down to Mexican. Those are bywords, all right? Your biblical nationality is the 12 tribes of Israel, okay? I'm going to go ahead and continue on. Verse 4, and it reads, they have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. All right? May be no more in remembrance. And who did that? chiefly Esau, Edom. All right? The biblical nationality of the so-called white man. Esau. All right? Continuing on, verse 5. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So if your lineage doesn't go back to the 12 tribes chart, all right, whether it be northern or southern kingdom on your father's side, all right, you belong to a heathen nation. Easier said, whether you're Japanese, whether you're Chinese, you know, whether you're Hindu, whether you're Arabian, all right, it does not matter. If your lineage does not go back to this 12 tribes chart, all right, you're of a heathen nation, and you have to answer for being confederate with Esau, Edom, all right? You have to answer for that, all right? Whether you care to hear it, forbear it, or not, you will answer for the children of Israel, for the destruction of the children of Israel, all right? This is going to be the book of Isaiah. Book of Isaiah, and this is going to be chapter 10. And I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, Woe unto them that declare unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. All right? Which they have prescribed. Unrighteous decrees, unrighteous laws. All right? Writing a law and then putting a penal code in that law to make you go off from that law that has another law on top of it. All right? If you ever seen the movie Enemy of the State, the one that's monitoring the monitor that monitors the monitor, all right, has a law for the one who monitors the monitor that monitors the monitor. And Slaki, I don't mean for it to sound confusing, all right? But this is exactly what they do. They hide in their laws, all right? Everything that they have in their laws is contrary to the doctrine of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the true law, all right? The law of the Bible governs life and death, all right? This is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's word, all right? The creator of all things. Continuing on to verse 2, and it reads, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people. All right, because you see so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Seminole Indians, Haitians, Guatemalans, Puerto Ricans, Argentinians, all the way down to Mexican, in low conditions. All right, fatherless, homes without fathers, but yet they have a wick and everything. Men have to be out of the house so they can receive assistance. All right, men getting shot down in the street of our nation. And women too now. Rape, robbery, and murder, which this country was founded off of, continuously perpetuated throughout the children of history. Slovakia, perpetuated throughout history for the children of Israel, first and foremost. All right, always in a low condition, always in hell. All right, because hell is a condition, not a place under the ground. All right, continuing on, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. All right, rob the fatherless. So the men will have no guidance. The young men, young men and young women will have no guidance because there's no father in the household. All right, it's a statistical proven fact when you have both parents, male and female, mother and father. All right, that the children come out to be, productive. Easiest way said. Verse 3. And that will ye do, Slakia. And verse 3. Slakia. I'm going to drop that. All right. And then I'm going to actually go over Go over to Isaiah 66. Got a couple more scripts and then I'm going to go ahead and close out. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66. And I'm going to start at verse 1. And it reads, Who is this that cometh from Eden with dyed garments from Basra? All right. Who is that? It's Yahweh who sent his son Yahweh Shai back. All right. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. This that is glorious in his apparel, travailing in the greatness of his strength, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. All right, so he who saves, all right, the deliverer, Yahweh Shai, continuing on. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garment like him that trotteth the winepress. Slakia, trotteth in the wine fat. All right, and the wine fat is if you ever seen that episode of I Love Lucy where she's stepping on grapes, all right, that's a visual depiction for you. All right, I have trotted the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my remnant. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is come. All right, so Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is upset. All right. He's first and foremost upset 2/3 of his own nation, but chiefly with Esau, Edom. All right, it goes 2/3 of his own nation for not hearkening unto his word. All right, Esau, Edom for being the devil that he is, and all these nations, other nations, for following after him. All right, for spoiling the children of Israel. All right, matter of fact, let me go. I'm going to jump over to. Right quick, let's go to Psalm, or Slakia. Let's stay in Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah 84. Right, book of Isaiah, chapter 84, and verse 1. And it reads, Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth, all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and the fury upon all their armies. He hath uttered destruction. Slack it. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. All right. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is angry and is going to deliver them to the slaughter. Continuing on. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountain shall be melted with their blood, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heaven shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down as the leaf fell off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. All right. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to make waste of Esau, Edom first and foremost, and of these other nations. All right. And it's going to make waste by his weapons of indignation. All right. It's going to be the pestilence. All right. As you're seeing out here right now, famine, teeth of wild beasts, all right? And ultimately, these ICBM missiles, all right, are going to be shot across to other lands, but America will be utterly destroyed, all right, by ICBM missiles, all right? Thus saith the Bible. It's like it. I'm going to go and continue to read down. Verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people my curse to judge. The sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kings of rams. For Yahweh hath sacrificed in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. All right, Idumea and Basra is another name for Esau, Edom. All right, the land where they dwelt. All right. So when it says Basra, all right, and Idumea, that is talking about Esau, Edom. All right, that nation. All right, and this is because they have utterly done wicked things. All right, first and foremost to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, reaving images and so on and so forth, and making his people go off. All right, they are confederate, and all these other nations that are confederate with Esau, Edom, will pay. All right, and they will pay for that. All right, so lucky I didn't mean for it to go this long, but the Spirit just jumped on me, to bring this out. I'm gonna jump back over to 63 right quick, and I'm gonna go to verse 4, and it reads, Slakia, Book of Isaiah, chapter 63, and verse 4. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeem is to come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and the wanderer that there was none to uphold thereof. Slakia, therefore in my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. Slakia, my fury it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in my anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. All right, and Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to subdue all these nations. All right, put our nation back in order. All right, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I want to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rachak Vadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to all the Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity, to the men, women, and children listening and learning, to the Bayashat Devadat. All right, we're almost out of here. This is Ayash Shatab from Men of Valor, Las Vegas Camp. To the next time, Shalom, Wad, Abal, Babal.